Hello and welcome to Concert Pipeline. I'm Steve Jones. Today on the program we have Skating Polly. I had the chance to interview Skating Polly actually a couple of years ago, back in 2019, around the 25th anniversary end of Warped Tour shebang festival that happened at Shoreline Amphitheater in Mountain View. I think I did a phone interview with them, but then I got to meet up with them at the show, and I got to see their performance at the show, which was really cool as well. They put on a really fun show, and they have a new album that's coming out on June. June 23rd. June 23rd. It's called Chaos County Line, and I've had the chance to listen to the album a couple times. I really dig it, and I can't wait to talk to them about it here in just a few minutes. I'm going to have a chat with Kelly from Skating Polly. Before we do that, though, share kind of what's going on in my world a little bit. Yet last night, my son had a carnival at his school, and I didn't know what to expect with that. I brought a bunch of cash, and his mom brought a bunch of cash. Figured we have to shell out for a bunch of games and activities and stuff to fundraise for the school. And it was surprising. There wasn't a lot of activities. It seemed very lightly put together. There was no money to be made from the event other than through food vendors that were selling food. So that didn't happen. We donated a cake to the thing, and it went fine. But hey, look, Kelly is in the waiting room, so I'm going to bring her in, and we can chat more a little bit after and do some music news and all that. So let's go ahead and bring Kelly in to the podcast.
Hi.
Hey, Kelly, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. My kids are out front having a water balloon fight and kiss each other at the house. So I was like, just stay out and be quiet for a bit, and we'll be good. So they get each other, so they're good. So yeah, how are you doing? You're preparing for this tour, I imagine, right?
Yeah. No, of course. I mean, I've been like running a lot. I just actually ran this morning, and we had like a 12-day. I'm actually in LA now, but right now, but we had like a 12-day hitting the practices really hard stretch. Well, it was like this 12-day stretch where we were practicing, and then I was also having dental work done. So it was really fun. It was like,
oh yeah, I'm just kind of mixing that. Oh my gosh.
Like, we're going to take the rod out of your arm for your birth control and reinsert it, and then practice, and then another filling, and then practice, and then wisdom teeth. And then they were like, you can't sing for a little bit after you get this wisdom teeth thing done. And I was like, just high for 2 days in bed. And then I flew back to LA.
A lot of back and forth, but it's good. You make time for all of it, right?
Yeah. Practice went well.
Exactly. So you're living in Seattle area, right? Like up in Washington?
Yeah, I'm living in Tacoma still. Yeah.
Okay. And so how is that going? Do you live with your half sister and your brother, or?
No, but I do live with my parents again. We used to all live in that house. But no, they live close by. Yeah. Me and Peyton basically live together. We see each other all the effing time, and we're constantly crashing at each other's places. So
yeah.
Curtis lives with his girlfriend now. I'm also very close by.
Nice. And so I want to get into the album a lot because I mean you have this album that's coming out, and it's not just it's a double album.
Yeah.
It feels like you have all these songs that just kind of built up to kind of putting this together. Tell me about the creation of this album.
Yeah, so this album is weird because in a way it was like the first album where we were like, okay, we have this. We gave ourselves a month in an Airbnb, like the cheapest Airbnb we could find in the middle of nowhere, Washington. So we'd be out in the woods, like forced to write, And it was like, and we're gonna bang these out, and we want to do a double album because it's been so long, and the fans deserve it, We had all these song ideas and songs, right? But the funny thing is, like, so for the first time ever, it was like this very like cohesive, like instead of just, oh, now we have enough songs for a record, it was like, no, like let's get enough songs for a record. But then also the weird thing is like we were taking ideas from stuff that I wrote freshly after the Make It All show, stuff that I wrote back when I was 14 stuff that I wrote. There's the last song on the album, Party House. There's a video of me playing it when I was 11 or 12.
Really?
It used to be, yeah. And that was the last one we added to the record, actually, because Brad was like, every song on this record is very heavy, either emotionally or tone wise. He's like, I think we need like just like a campfire sing along. And when he said that, like the idea came to me like, well, I was like, all my songs right now are kind of moody bastard, heavy songs. But when I was 11, I had a really light song that I wrote, and I just knew that I wanted my family to sing on it. So our parents are on it, my grandma's on it, our little cousin's on it.
It's awesome. I wanted to talk to you about Party House because that's such a great way to end the album. And you could tell that there's a party going on and everybody's involved, right? So so tell me kind of about going back and kind of pulling the song out. Like, did you have it? Where did you have it? How do you save a song for that long? And how did it come about to putting it on this album?
I mean, I don't know. There's some Skating Polly songs that like will just randomly get stuck in our head that we used to play a lot when we were kids that there are no recordings of. And then it's like, oh, I remember vaguely that this is the melody of it. But that one, I knew that there was a live recording of it somewhere. So I just checked on YouTube and I found it. And then I think I maybe changed the key. I can't remember, but I just made the guitar part, kind of campfire sing-alongy. And that's also the only song that was recorded at our house. And Peyton had pneumonia when we were recording it too.
Oh my gosh.
She's like, it's amazing that she could sing the way she sang, because I was like, are you sure? And she's like, yes, I want, it's like, I want to just do it. And she did it in like 2 takes. And I was like, you badass.
That's incredible. That's incredible. And the album starts out with Baby, and this song is just like this build up. I mean, it starts out like all cutie and just like soft talking and everything, and then it just becomes this rock anthem sort of thing. Tell me about that song and how you progressed, how you built it.
So that song, I wrote right before I was told, like, I ended up having surgery on my voice. And anyway, right before I found out that I was going to have surgery on my voice, I was staying with Exene Cervinka from X, and we were trying to write all these like folk songs and like country ditties. And most of them were completely her words, and then I'd put melody to them, or partially her words, partially my words, and I'd put melody to them. But Baby on my birthday, my words. And I wrote it in the shower one day because it was a friend of mine's birthday who one of the last times I'd spoke to them had like got mad at me on my own birthday. And she was like, you're always a baby on your birthday, which is so true. I find something to get upset about on my birthdays, and then I go, and it's my birthday. And so I was like, oh man, it's Alice's birthday. And so that melody got stuck in my head, and then I just started like fleshing out the lyrics, and at first it was this really simple country ditty, and it was such a short song for so long, but Brad had the idea. He was like, no, and then drum solo, full replacements, chaos, you need to break into it. So we did that, and that's kind of the second part, is when it gets loud. But I felt like, okay, but then it needs even more chaos, like once we started playing with the replacements chaos of me just going into all these characters, like I feel like I do like drill sergeant character, and like in my like twangy, insane character. Then I felt like it needed like an evil section, like pure evil Melvin's, like, so that's what the last part is. And once we had like a live phone, like a voice memo recording of it, and that I was just really married to. And basically we just tried to recreate that whenever we did the album version, and Brad was really good at facilitating that.
Yeah. What do you like to do on your birthday? You had your birthday last month, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. No, actually my birthday last month, I was not a baby, which I was really,
good. Okay.
I was really stoked about that one. I was like, oof. I think it's just, I've just had a few, right? I've had a few where it's like when something is wrong, but no, this last birthday was really sweet. I spent it, like a friend of mine took me to like Newport Beach, and we just walked a bunch, and then I had dinner with him and his mom at a really nice restaurant, and it was just very chill, low stakes, like, oh, okay, we're not having a party, we're not like, it was just very like, let's just do nice things today. So It's
Yeah,
cool.
that's cool. I have a milestone birthday next month,
Cool. What is
and
it?
40.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. I guess you're getting older. Congratulations.
No, thank you.
Yeah, and I'm gonna keep it low key. I'm gonna go fishing with some friends, and then we got an Airbnb and just have some drinks, get
That sounds lovely.
chill and everything. So it'll it'll be fun. Huh. Um, yeah, and I wanted to ask you about the Hickey King video. Also, tell me about how that came about. I mean, it starts out as like this, just like a concert video, but then it progresses a bit, right? So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I knew that it needed a live element, and I knew that it needed a story element. Like I was very kind of adamant about that. And I just felt like we'd played it live so many times, and I love playing that song live, and I'm comfortable playing it live, so I can jump around and I can move, and I just felt like that needed to be captured. But then I needed like a whole different world for the verses a bit, is what I kept saying. And Dave Smith, who did it, we've worked with him on so many videos. He did A Little Late, he did Protective Boy, he did Hail Mary, he did Audie Moore. So anyway, we chose him, and me and Dave, this thing that we always talk about is how a song has 3 stories. So it has like the very literal inspiration. So for Hickey King, that would be like, this date Peyton went on, and like certain guys I know, and and then the kind of story we paint, which is it's more like frenetic. It's like, oh yeah, like my Hickey King of Little League, like it's like praising these people for leaving their mark on you, but in this kind of sarcastic way. And then there's the third story, which should be the music video, and the music video should always be a different story, in my opinion. And so I was like, so we gotta go through the lyrics, we gotta find a third story. And then Dave pitched the idea to me that she'd be a vampire, and it works so well with the lyrics. It's insane. Like that I even got a sunburn for that boy, like don't tell a soul, just throw it away. Like there's all these little things. I thought it would be easier to treat you like that. I thought, like thought it'd be easy to eat you. Thought it'd be pleasing.
right. No, that's cool. You posted on your Instagram some lyrics for "Sorry for Always Apologizing."
Yeah.
Yes. Is that something you find yourself kind of doing, like apologizing for a lot? Tell me about that song a little bit and where that comes from.
Definitely. Yeah, no, I definitely am a chronic over apologizer. I catch myself saying sorry when people do nice things for me. Instead of thank you, I'll say sorry, like, oh, sorry. And and yeah, and I knew that I wanted that song to be, I kind of that line, and I'm sorry for always apologizing, came really quickly to me. So then it was like, well, what character do I paint? Do I just paint this like really sweet, like, oh, I'm so sorry? But I thought it'd be more fun to kind of play this like huge jerk, this kind of ruthless jerk. And whenever I play characters, I always like to draw from like a time where I've felt like that character. So anytime I write in a character, I like to like, almost like acting or something, take from a real life experience. So the first one that came to mind to me was this time that I was like madly in love, but kept breaking this person's heart and just kept being, and it's hyperbole, like what a prick I am in the song, but yeah, like it's it's the guy that it's about with my friend Tim Franco from Starcrawler, and he's like the bass player, and we had this really brief love affair, but he's just like the sweetest guy, and I felt like I just made all the wrong choices, and then I'd always be like, I'm sorry. He's like, you're fine. So that's where that song came from. And I am really, the lyrics that I posted on my Instagram are some of my favorite lines on the record. Like I'm sorry for noticing your innocence and using it to boost my self-esteem. I'm sorry that your kind-hearted nature had a lousy forest fire take its trees. I'm sorry for saying that you couldn't be my friend just because you wouldn't play with me. Like I love the wordplay of all of that. I love the imagery of like your kind-hearted nature like burned down, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. So I had the chance to interview you a couple years ago around Warped Tour, and like the big 25th anniversary thing, and that they did, and saw you out in Mountain View, and it was, I mean, such a really cool show. I was wondering what you remember of that show.
I remember at the end, somehow I ended up like front of stage with just the mic, which is why I don't remember how the song, I don't remember which song escalated to me doing that, but there are some really good photos of me like on the floor of the stage with just the mic. And I remember my hair being freshly green.
It was freshly green. Here you go.
Oh, hey, there we go. Yeah, no, I really loved that show. That was a really fun one. And I met some cool people afterwards. But it's funny, it's like I end up remembering these shows by like the photos and stuff. Hey, there you are.
Here I am.
Like the visceral sensation, sure, I can recall that, but it's funny how the way things kind of blur together, and then you just, the photos or the videos you see online are like become your memory more so, you know?
Yeah,
So.
yeah. I was showing my son those photos this morning, and he's like, and telling me I was going to interview you, and he's like, "Isn't that Billie Eilish?" And, and I'm like, "No, she had green hair before Billie."
Hey, nice. Isn't that Billie Eilish?
Right? I know, right? Yeah, but I mean, you put so much into your live performance, and so like, tell me kind of about channeling kind of that energy for your live shows. Where does that come from? How do you put it all on stage like you do?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just a little weirdo, and I just like I have so much energy in my body, and I have so much. I feel like I think sometimes so fast, and maybe that's because of all the caffeine I consume. But I think even when I'm not caffeinated, I'm still kind of like that. I'm kind of just, and it's like it's been the best outlet for me time and time again, and it feels like I get to be characters when I'm on stage. It feels like, I mean, singing is just, it's always been this very visceral, very comforting thing for me. And it's weird because live, like depending on the circumstances, depending on who I talk to that day, depending on who's in the audience, depending on the weather, depending on my stage sound, like the lyrics will kind of take on different meanings, and my performance or whatever will kind of veer into different directions. And I like that. Like my favorite live bands are different every night you see them. So I do try to kind of keep it loose, even though I want to be, like tight but loose. I think it's and be able to kind of veer off into a little bit of chaos to keep people on their toes or whatever. And then also, if you're coming to every single show on a tour, you're happy.
Exactly. Got to mix the set list up, right? So are there bands that you try and emulate, that you want to pull things from, that and kind of build into your own persona and live performance?
Oh, so many. I mean, like the first time I saw one of the first tours we ever went on, maybe, was Broncho. And they've ventured into so many different directions musically, but at first they were just kind of like garage rock, and their performance was so good, and Ryan would just swing around and stuff. And that was the first person I saw where I was like, I want to move around. I want to be more animated on stage, because my songs are animated, so I want to move. And so that was when I was pretty young, maybe 12 or something. And then honestly, Starcrawler, I really love the way that they move around and stuff too. I mean, like our show is completely different, but I mean, I just love this. Like Henry Cash has so many moves, Arrow has so many moves, and it was just exciting. And so that kind of made me go, oh, I want to up my game too, even more. Deerhoof has this really intense connection with each other, the way that they're constantly checking on each other and making their next move because of that. So I really wanted that. Exene and John changing their parts from night to night DJ, same thing. His xylophone solos and drum solos are different night to night. Kate Nash and Charlie Bliss both have this gift of like just being so warm in between songs. So I really, that's what I want to do. Like I don't like to be like yeah, fuck you guys, make more noise. I really don't like that. Like, even if our energy is completely punk and sarcastic and crazy and whatever, and if I'm gonna get intense and mean during the songs, between the songs, I just want to be like grateful that these people are here and let them know that I'm grateful and like make sure we're all happy and having a good time. And yeah, so yeah, a lot of bands
Yeah,
have. It's me, I guess I should say.
of course. And you've made a lot of stops in the Bay Area over the years. You've
Yeah,
played Bottom of the Hill recently.
yeah.
You did what was it, the Chapel, I think. Maybe not the Chapel. I'm trying to remember some of the
I'm
more
trying to
recent
remember
ones.
too. DNA
Uh,
Lounge, we've done that one. We've done.
yeah, it was the Chapel. Yeah, you
Was
did
the
that in the
chapel?
past.
Okay.
Yeah,
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 yeah. We're coming back through soon, right?
yeah. Yeah, you are. You got a couple stop. You got to stop in San Francisco and around San Francisco and Sacramento as
Yeah,
well.
okay. Yeah. I'm like looking at the dates. I'm like, oh wait, what
I know.
constitutes an area?
We got to look it up. Yeah, the Ivy Room in Albany, and then Harlow's in Sacramento. What are some of your memories of playing shows in the Bay? Any fun antics that you got into?
um, one time, one time we were playing DNA Lounge, and uh, so like Arrow does this thing. I also just recently hung out with Starcrawler, so I guess they're on my mind, so I'm just talking about them. But they played before us. It was Starcrawler and then us at DNA Lounge. This was back in like 2017, and it was a crazy show. The energy was so good. But Arrow, she does blood capsules and she spits blood everywhere. And one thing that she always does, which is so like badass, like Ozzy Osbourne or something, is she'll like with the fake blood draw an upside down cross on her forehead. And I don't know if she does that every night, but she'll sometimes do it, right? And I remember like towards the end of our set, I dropped my pick. And so I'm playing with just my fingers. And so my fingers just get shredded, like the skin's gone. And I'm just bleeding. And so at the end of our set, I did the little bloody cross with my blood.
With real blood,
I was like, we're matching.
You're like, I'll show you up.
It was pretty funny. What else has happened in San Francisco? Oh, the Bottom of the Hill show recently was so good. That was a wild one. We had this really cool band, The Wash, that we brought out with us, and I was so nervous for that show because there was a line like waiting to get in to the concert, and honestly, just like that much of a good thing, instead of me being like, yay, I was just like, oh. And so I was scared, and I was backstage, and I was like, and it was weird. I was sleep deprived, and I cried a little bit before the show, and then I got on stage, and the connection to the audience was just so electric, and I felt like I don't know. I felt like no wrongs could be done. It felt like everyone was here and just made this agreement to have the best night ever. And it was a really fun show.
Yeah. What do you love most about touring in general? What is it that you enjoy?
I think because I suck at routine, I like the sense of like there's a routine to a degree, but it's also like the routine is that every night it's going to be different. So I like that. I mean, I honestly really like being in cars. A lot of people don't like it, but I like cars. I think cars are good times to like talk to people and also listen to music. I mean, of course I get ready to be somewhere. I mean, I don't know. It's just shows are such an outlet. So shows are such a good outlet for energy, and I don't know. It's different every night, and I don't know what my favorite part is. It's just fun. It's an adventure, and I like that.
Yeah. Well, tell me about how your relationship with Peyton and Curtis has kind of progressed through the close quarters that you keep, through touring and recording
Yeah.
together and everything. Like
Yeah, no.
that's a unique opportunity to be so close to your siblings like that.
Yeah, it's always weird to me when people aren't close to their siblings.
I'll be honest, I'm not the closest with my sister, so
No, it makes sense. I've met so many people. Yeah, like, and we have fights. We have like rough fights, of course. I mean, because we kind of operate on 3 different levels. Like there's the work level, there's the friend level, and there's the sibling level. But no, I love them, and I'm so proud of them, and I really believe in both of them. And we actually all just started doing band therapy together, and it's not really, I don't really see it as like because there's been tumultuous problems. It's more just like because we want to take our communication to like the next level. We just want to be so together. And it's been really nice to do that. But yeah, no, I think we've all gotten better at like giving each other space, like learning what kind of upset everyone's feeling, like learning what kind of grumpy each other are feeling, you know, and I don't know, like there's just this excitement and there's just this love there and this belief and trust in each other that I'm really grateful for.
Yeah. You had a video on that you put on Instagram of you and Peyton learning each other's parts, and I think you do more of that on your Patreon as well. Like, tell me about that process for you as you're kind of diving into learning the other parts of the songs.
Yeah, that was funny. Like we always, you know, we'll kind of like sing each other's parts when we're like listening to our own music back, or just, you know, sing. So we were sound checking one day and we just like as a joke tried to do each other's parts, but it felt so unnatural. And we were like, oh, we should just do that just for fun, because I know both of our styles are so drastically different, our singing styles and also just like our cadence, and I guess that's more singing, but you know what I mean, really different. So it was fun I like hearing the different takes, and I've had the request from so many fans to like do a record or an EP of covering each other's songs. And I think we will do that. I think it'd be really fun, because there are just certain things that her voice can do that my voice cannot do, and vice versa, and so it's fun to kind of see the workarounds.
Yeah. And you taught yourself drums. Do you ever see yourself getting behind the drum kit at your shows?
I do. Yeah. I used to play drums a lot whenever it was just me and Peyton. And yeah, I when Kurt joined, I kind of just was like, I'll just stay at the front of the stage, because there's so many switches already with Curtis and Peyton switching, and then me and Peyton switching whenever I go to, you know. I was just like, well, I'll just stay up here and you guys can be on drums. But who knows? Never say never. Kurt broke his hand on a tour once, and I went back there.
Yeah. So you were able to fill the spot. So
sloppily.
Speaking of the injuries, you mentioned earlier vocal surgery. You had 2 vocal surgeries, right? Like,
yeah.
What was that process like for you? And how, I mean, with a tool that's so important to your craft, like, tell me about that process of working through those challenges.
Well, yeah, like it was, I basically found out right after those couple weeks with vaccine. I went and saw a fancy doctor, and they found 2 cysts, one on each of my vocal cords, and it took a long time to actually get the surgery because of COVID, because you could only get, you know, certain surgeries, basically like life-threatening surgeries. And then when I finally got them, it was like a year basically of on and off vocal rest. So it's, you know, no noises. And I was living all over the place. I was living in Venice. I was living in Hollywood. I was living back home for a second. Then I moved to this tiny town in Oregon, and then just kind of bouncing around, being silent. And I don't know. I mean, I'm really lucky that it coincided with the pandemic, because I would have been so disheartened if it happened like right after this long break, you know, but
yeah.
But it was intense, because everyone, you know, like all the advice was like, just no, have a phone call with someone. It's like, I can't have a phone call with someone. I have to, you know, but whatever. I could text. I got really into postcards and whistling, and playing guitar sometimes, and playing piano sometimes. And yeah, I don't know. But now, then towards the light at the end of the tunnel was I got to work with vocal coaches and speech therapists and stuff, and really know my voice and my throat for the first time ever. I mean, it's this instrument that you cannot see, so to kind of hear the medical side of things, and then also just have visualizations and have technique. I think I avoided technique, and I had dabbled in vocal warm-ups because I saw Charlie Bliss doing it and it seemed important. But I was always scared that if I got if I learned the technique of my voice, then I'd sing stupid and like corny and like not punk anymore. But that's not really true. I mean, all these people listened to my music and they were like, yeah, no, you can still do this. I mean, don't hit these 11 on the dial screams every single night for every single song, but you can still, you can project and you can hit the notes and you can, you know, put on a good show. And one thing a vocal coach told me that was really helpful was like, your fans are coming for your songs and for your performance, and not to see you like bash your head in with a hammer. And what he meant by that was like, you know, just scream so loud that I destroy my voice again. It's like the point, it's not to come see you destroy yourself. That's not why these people like you. And I was like, okay, fair enough.
Fair. Were you pretty nervous to do it, to even practice or get out on stage and kind of, you know, for fear you might damage something? Or
Yeah, definitely. I was nervous, and a lot of it, you know, like it was just I was scared that I'd lose my stamina and stuff. And the first couple tours, I wouldn't really go out after it all, and I'd, you know, just have to stay back and kind of take care of my voice. And I still have to do that. I mean, a lot of the like the talking and stuff after you've just put on a show where you're singing really high, you're singing really low, you're yelling, you're projecting, you know, it's not good. You do need to just rest and steam. And it always disappoints people because everyone wants to hang out with you and be super chatty before and after shows and talk over the loud house music or talk over the loud other band that's playing. You know, it's like, I can't do that because I want to, you know, sustain this.
yeah, no, that makes sense. Tell me about Ugly Pop, the documentary that you were putting together. You know, when will it be released? I know it's had a screening, right? It was at Sundance, and that was actually right before you you damaged your vocals, right? You're right around that time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gone to a few festivals. We did a big screening at Norman Music Fest. At Sundance, we played Sundance because we had our song in Viggo Mortensen's movie Falling.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
So, but it has toured festivals, and we got to do it like in my hometown, Norman, and I don't know, Henry, who's Vigo's son actually, and a dear friend of mine whose house I'm lucky enough to get to stay in. I don't really know what his plans are for it. I don't know when it's going to go to streaming. I don't know when its official release will be, but I'm really proud of him and that movie he made. I mean, it was just a passion project for him, and he just followed us around with the camera and then kind of kept following us around with the camera, and it took a long time to edit because there was so much footage. But I do think it's a really warm, kind of accurate ride and in the skating poly world, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, this is me for sure. That's me. That's Peyton. But it's funny, most of it takes place, I mean, it takes place right up to the point of Kurt joining.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, and he joined in, when did he join? 2017?
Yes, exactly. 2017.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So it's got a couple of years back, but you know, it'll see the light of day at some point.
Yeah, it definitely will. I want it on all the streamings. I don't know what the process is for doing that, but I want it on all the streamings. I'd love that.
Got to get it out there. I want to see it. You did a European festival too, and you got to play. I know some place you were really excited to play was Spain, right? Tell me about that experience and getting to see those parts of the world.
Yeah, no, we've gone to Europe a few times now. It's incredible. I don't know. I feel like every country is so different, and Spain's lovely. The crowds are so enthusiastic, so animated. Bordeaux was really, really cool this time around. I mean, like we played basically this like cave, and all these kids who make their own clothes came to the show. It was like just young punks. It was badass. And England's always lovely. I feel like it's always funny, like doing Europe first and because when we're in Europe, I try not to talk too much in between songs because it's just like there's a bit of a language barrier, and so there's no point. No one wants to, they want to hear your songs.
Yeah.
And it's like it's just a whole nother thing. But back in England, I think like people find my American accent charming, and they're down with my jokes and stage banter, whatever it could be, just sweet, awkward ramblings.
I enjoy it. So
Yeah, they enjoy it. I love the Netherlands. I love, oh my God, the hospitality in Germany is so amazing. We had a really crazy good show in Nuremberg, or was it Munich? God, I can't remember, but just like every single person in the building was singing along. We played this this small town called Stuttgart in a cafe, and people were like, the cafe was packed, and then people were outside watching from the window, watching the set from the window. Oh, it was really cool.
How cool is it? Like your music has had this impact, not just here in the States or anything, but worldwide, and you're able to kind of go and kind of share that appreciation of it.
So cool. I mean, like,
Yeah.
you know, the weird thing is like I was saying, like there are people who obviously English isn't their first language, maybe can't even understand me speaking in between songs, but can sing along to my songs, you know, like know the
Yeah.
songs. I mean, that's insane. It feels so good. It's like the best ticket, the best opportunity to get to travel the world, like to, you know, play music all over the world. It really is, like the energy can be so vastly different from place to place, and yeah, it's a gift.
Yeah. You provided support for the Flaming Lips at one point. Did you get to meet Wayne Coyne and
Yeah.
tell me about that experience and seeing them
It
live?
was a long time ago. Yeah, no, we opened a couple shows for the Flaming Lips, and we were really close with the drummer, Cliff Skurlock, at the time. He's no longer in it. Wayne used to have our sticker on his Prius. We recorded a music video in Wayne's bathtub once. So no,
What?
I've met Wayne a ton of times, but yeah, it's been a while. But yeah, no, those were really fun shows. I was small. I was small. We were just a two-piece back then.
What was the video in Wayne's bathtub? What was that one?
It's called Kick, Kick, and Dilo Creative made it, who also makes a lot of the Flaming Lips videos. That's actually kind of how that's how the Flaming Lips discovered us, is because their video team started making music videos for us, and Cliff, the drummer, saw George editing one, and he was like, "What is this? I want to go see them."
Yeah, they put on a really good show. I saw them almost 20 years ago, probably at Street Scene down in San Diego, and he did the bubble thing, you know, walking on
Yeah.
the crowd, and they did Bohemian Rhapsody cover and everything, and it was just this great festival performance that was incredible, and you know, and the challenge at the festival is like you have the Flaming Lips, and then after them the Pixies are on, right? And the Pixies are great, and they've been around forever, but the Flaming Lips, you know, came out and performed this like, you know, incredible rock opera. Yeah, it was an interesting booking choice, but but
I don't know. I think some of those songs never get. I just think like I love a rock show that's like not I, as much as I love fireworks in a rock show, like I love a show that's like all about the music, and it's just
yeah,
like, well, we don't have fireworks, we just have songs.
yeah.
I got
Yes.
mad respect for that. I'm like, God damn, that's how the Breeders were, and oh my God, it crushed me. I loved it so much. They don't
Yeah.
move. They don't move on stage. They just
Yeah.
play the fucking great songs.
You don't always need to if the music's great, right? You know, you put on a good rock show and still without that. So, yeah. And so you have a Patreon. Tell me about your Patreon, what you do for your fans. I think you do a podcast, right? So,
There's a lot of stuff on the Patreon. It's been a while since we've done a podcast app, but we're working on it. And then there's just demos from all the Make It All show demos are up there. We've done these commentaries for every song we've released live. I mean, not why I say live, every song we've released basically. So every album we went track by track, and me and Peyton and Curtis on the records Kurt's on talk about each song. And like art and drawings that we don't share anywhere else, poetry, demos, little half-finished songs are on there. You know, just little stories that we don't share with everyone are up there. Just experiments and so on and so forth. I just try to kind of put things on there that, you know, the big Skating Polly fans would appreciate. Recently, when I got my wisdom teeth out, I posted a really unflattering crying photo of myself out there. So I thought, you know, you guys deserve to see me this vulnerable.
right. You pay to see me this vulnerable. You're in the in crowd, right? So
In the crowd, yeah. So yeah, we just try to just be real, and then we do a cover every month that we give two choices, and then people vote, and we do a cover, and the cover could be like a video of us playing it, or it could be like our garage band version of the cover. Yeah, it's been fun.
What are some of the songs you like to cover?
So far we've done right now we're doing Shark Smile by Big Thief, and I need to put my parts over it. Peyton sent me it. And I did Explain It to Me by Liz Phair. We did Blue by the Jayhawks. We did gosh, what have we done? You Can Make Him Like You by the Hold Steady. I did Kokomo, Indiana by Japanese Breakfast.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I
Fun.
like it. Kelly, I want to thank you for taking the time today and chatting and catching up a bit. I mean, you haven't slowed down. I know COVID put a bump in the road there, but it didn't slow you guys down at all. You're out there and you're ready for this next tour. You know, I imagine you have a bunch of other songs still in the pipes, but I mean, a double album is nothing to shake your head at. That's incredible, and it's a really great album. So
Thank you so much. Wow. I
yeah.
really appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you. I'm really, really excited. And thank you for talking to me today. And yeah, I hope the audio is okay on that.
Yeah, I think it was okay. So
Good. Oh, perfect. All right.
very cool. All right. Well, I hope you have a good rest of your weekend, and yeah, you look really comfy in the robe. So
Yeah, I know. I wanted to wear this robe. It looks so good with this like pink dress. I was like, this robe's so good. And it has a hood. The hood.
oh
Okay. All
yeah,
right.
you're set. Well, thanks, Kelly. Have a great weekend ahead. Okay.
Bye. You too.
That was the interview with Skating Polly here on Concert Pipeline. Thank you, Kelly, for taking the time to chat today. Really enjoyed it. And that'll take us to the final segment on the program, the music news. All right, I got a couple stories to wind out the program today. So first off is a story about Ed Sheeran. I don't talk about Ed Sheeran a lot. Actually, my former co-host Jens used to always say his name Ed Sheeran, which is pretty comical because he struggles to say names. But Ed Sheeran has announced an intimate North American tour, and there's a reason that I mentioned this tour. But he's playing 14 small-scale shows amid his stadium tour. And so this, let's see, he kicks off his plus minus equals division multiplication tour. It's mathematics tour, I guess is what it's called, in North America next month. He's going to stage more intimate performances at 14 theaters and auditoriums across the US and Canada during the stadium show. Ben Queller is providing support for the majority of the small scale shows. They're buddies. So there's a Ticketmaster verified fan presale that's set. And you can access that and to be able to purchase tickets when they go on sale. I'm not an Ed Sheeran fan, but I am a Ben Queller fan. And Ben Queller has gone through some really tough times recently. We talked about it in a recent episode, maybe even last week, where I mean his son died in a car accident, and I know he just put on a show that he was hesitant to do, but his son was set to open the show for him, and they were going to play, together, really, right? And he wasn't able to do that, but he wanted to live on in his son's memory and not go down a rabbit hole. He wants to, play music for his son, really. Ben has Christopher Mintz-Plasse, who is McLovin in his band. Which is really cool. We've had the chance to interview Chris actually at Ben Queller's show a couple of years ago before they were in the same band together. Chris's band opened for Ben Queller's band. So that's a lot of fun. I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to get tickets. Probably not. And again, I also don't want to steal tickets from someone. From an Ed Sheeran fan who would be crazy about seeing Ed Sheeran in such an intimate place like they're playing. They're going to play at the Fox Theater in Oakland, which is like 2,500 seats, something along those lines, which is much, much, much smaller than the stadiums that he's playing. So I don't think I'd be able to even get tickets, but it would be cool to see Ben Queller again live. And I was hoping to get to see him, sometime soon, playing music, but that might not be the tour where I get to see him. Okay, Bamboozle Festival 2023 was canceled a week before the festival was due to take place. Limp Bizkit, Mayday Parade, and Papa Roach and more were set to play the Revive Festival. This was the first time that it was going to happen. It's a festival in New Jersey, and the last one was in 2012, and was described by founder John Desposito as a party 20 years in the making. And so this was going to happen May 5th to 7th, and a statement posted this a couple of days ago. Organizers confirmed that it wouldn't take place. After extensive discussions, we've made the heartbreaking decision to cancel Bamboozle 2023. An incredible amount of time, dedication, passion, and hard work was invested into making this comeback a success. We appreciate everyone who supported the festival, and you can get refunds at the point of purchase. So you wonder why, right? I mean, because a big festival takes a lot to make happen. There was ongoing concern we were not getting the required documents from festival organizers in a timely manner. The city business administrator said they asked for that information months in advance, and to protect the city and taxpayers of Atlantic City. The event was fast approaching, and these issues were still unresolved. So it didn't happen. And honestly, the lineup, not great comparatively to past lineups that they've had. This festival has seen a lot of really cool things happen. I remember Something Corporate reunited at Bamboozle, I believe, which is pretty cool. But the last Bamboozle was like I said, in 2012. Bon Jovi, the Foo Fighters, and Skrillex headlined to 20,000 people each night. And then earlier this month, Desposito said 6,000 tickets for Bamboozle 2023 had been sold. So they hadn't sold a number of tickets they needed to. They also didn't get the permits that they needed either. So it's unfortunate for them. Okay. Michelle Obama joined Bruce Springsteen to perform Glory Days at Barcelona gig. She sung and played the tambourine, which I don't know that is really an instrument that you play as much as just kind of trying to keep beat, right? So she did that. Let's see, she did that to Born in the USA, along Springsteen's wife and D Street band member Patti Scalfa, I don't know, and actress Kate Capshaw. So there were a bunch of people there. Steven Spielberg was there as well, and he dined with Barack and Michelle Obama at a restaurant in Spanish City, and then Michelle Obama was up there dancing and singing, I guess, which is pretty cool. Probably the coolest first lady in recent history, right? Come on. All right. And this last story that I have is interesting just on the surface to me. And that is that a study found that 50% of vinyl buyers in the US don't have a record player. It appears that super fans with a completionist mindset are driving the trend. And according to Luminate, which recently published its top entertainment trends for 2023 report, that 50% of consumers who have bought a vinyl in the past 12 months own a record player, compared to 15% among music listeners overall. And so they credit those statistics to super fans, whom it defines as music listeners who spend above average time and money on music, actively discover new music, participate in music-related activities on social media, and plan on attending a live music event in the next 12 months. The majority of music revenue, 84%, still comes from streaming services. Super fans buy the music, not necessarily to listen to it. It's like buying a cassette from your favorite artist. I've talked to a band recently who was selling cassettes. I think it was Newski, if I remember correctly. And people don't have cassette players. You can just sell blank cassettes with your name on it, and then if your super fans will buy it just for the nostalgia factor of having a cassette that they assume has the music on it, but we'll never be able to find out because cassette players don't exist anymore, right? I never got into vinyl. I never bought a vinyl record player. I think I owned one. Like my friend John gave me one at one point, but it just took up space. I don't think I ever used it because I didn't buy vinyl. It's a medium outside of my financial capacity that, I never wanted to invest in vinyl and spend a lot of money for music in that way, because I can listen to it on CDs or streaming or what have you. So I never got into it, just putting it out there. But the vinyl album sales grew 11%, while the CD albums, in contrast, fell 17%. So people aren't going towards CDs anymore, and I do miss the days of being able to buy CDs, like the bands that I'd interview, and get to go to their shows and have them sign the CD, and then have this thing, it's part of my collection, because I have a couple hundred signed CDs in boxes in my closet that are just there and not getting used. But so it goes, right? So anyway, that's one way to get music. Not sure how. I mean, people are streaming. That's the way to do it, right? Apple Music, Spotify, whatever service they're using, that's the way to get it. So, all right, that is our show for today. Thank you to Skating Polly and for being on the program. Really enjoyed our conversation. Next week on the program, I'm in the process of working something up. We might have Josie Cotton on the program, another female musician, but that isn't 100% locked in yet. We will see if it happens. So for all of us here at Concert Pipeline, I'm Steve Jones. We'll catch you next time.